Darkness may lurk in the human brain, and certain people stand out for their horrible deeds in the annals of criminal history. Today we dive into the terrifying world of 6 deranged killers whose horrifying acts have left a permanent mark on society. Number 6. Erica Mae Butts and Shanita Latrice Cunningham. In every sense of the term, the atrocities these two committed are troubling. Serenity Richardson, an innocent 3-year-old girl, was murdered in South Carolina by Butts and Cunningham. Serenity's godmother, Butts, was both Cunningham's girlfriend and her mother's best friend. Little Serenity entered the Cunningham home in 2009, anticipating receiving loving care and protection. But horrifyingly, she instead witnessed a shocking scene of physical and emotional abuse, an especially extreme case of child maltreatment, according to prosecuting attorney Elizabeth Gordon. Butts repeatedly beat her and Cunningham with a belt and plastic coat hangers, leaving no portion of her body unharmed. When the court announced their destiny and the judge punished them, dread surged. Cunningham was shoved through the courtroom doorway and collapsed, yelling in fear. The law was followed. It is difficult to take away Serenity's agony and those of her loved ones. Number 5. Shondell Jackson.
Barking the outburst.
Next is about an innocent 21-year-old Nathan boy who suffered another pathetic death. He refers to the punishment against his nephew as Mississippi. Fairness must be given since Jackson was just 19 years old when he was found guilty of the first-degree intentional murder and robbery of University of Wisconsin student Nathan Potter. Since Potter had no money on him as he headed back to his flat, Jackson and his companion, 20-year-old Derek Thomas, tried to rob him. During the trial, Jackson and Thomas assassinated him. Shondell made a point of demonstrating in the trial file just how nasty he is. Jackson grinned, hurled obscenities at the family, and even smiled at Potter's relatives, showing an astonishing lack of remorse or regret for the victim's death or his conduct. Number 4. Adrian Dunn. Adrian Dunn here.
He's been to prison twice for possessing a firearm after this murder. He committed another shooting a month before this murder.
Would like to know what offense he committed. For what the investigators called the drug sale, Dunn met 24-year-old Rakeem Tariq Charles in a lonely street area on July 16, 2012. Sadly, things didn't turn out the way they had hoped. Prosecutors claimed that Dunn's criminal history significantly influenced his sentence because he had already served time in prison for gun possession, had shot another person before the murder, and had shown no remorse for his actions. Dunn, who had been in and out of prison, shot and killed Charles. The judge gave Dunn a severe penalty. After nearly 2 hours of deliberation, the jury sentenced Dunn to life in prison. Throughout the trial, Dunn displayed no remorse and acted as if he had done nothing wrong. However, he lost his composure when he learned he would no longer be a free man. Prosecutors argued that this sentence was justified given Dunn's prior criminal history. Several Bexar County Sheriff's officers had to remove him from the court after he yelled profanities and swear words at the judge. Number 3. Diana Lovejoy. What the authorities classified as a murder attempt plot, Lovejoy and Weldon McDavid, her firearms instructor, was in court for a murder-for-hire scheme. The incident happened in September 2016 as Lovejoy and Mulvey Hill finalized their contentious divorce and custody battle over their son. Assistant District Attorney Jody Breton argued that Lovejoy tricked McDavid into the shooting by fabricating abuse allegations, but each party denied there was a murder-for-hire plot. During the hearing, the prosecutor on the other side portrayed Lovejoy as manipulative, selfish, and completely self-absorbed, stating that Lovejoy will go to any extent to get her way. Lovejoy cried as she told the judge she could never take her son's father away from him. Number 2. Michael Swanson.
Verdict number 1, we find the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree, signed foreperson.
Swanson, a Twin Cities resident, went on trial in Iowa for the murder of 2 women. Michael Swanson, who was 18 at the time of the killings and admitted to shooting 2 store employees during a robbery spree in November 2010, was found guilty of first-degree murder and first-degree robbery in the death of Sheila Myers. He later pleaded guilty to the murder of Vicki Bowman. During his sentencing, the victim's family members gave moving victim impact statements about the victim's death impact on their lives. She claimed Bowman questioned how someone could achieve power by killing a helpless lady and disparaged Swanson as weak and when Swanson barged inside the convenience shop demanding cigarettes and cash. Swanson grinned throughout the session, but the judge swiftly cut him off, saying it wasn't proper for the circumstance. Despite disagreements regarding Swanson's mental health issues, the judge declared him evil and gave him a life sentence for both murders. Number 1. Jeremy Christian. Here comes another dramatic boy in the court. Christian was responsible for the fatal knife attack on a MAX train in Portland, Oregon on May 26, 2017. More than a dozen Christian victims and victims' relatives spoke in court during the trial after Christian fatally stabbed 2 men and wounded another during a hate-motivated attack. Christian was permitted to speak in court and occasionally seemed discouraged and distraught, but he refused to take responsibility for his acts. Despite Christian's attorney's claims that the maximum sentence he could receive was life in prison with a 30-year minimum, the judge believed otherwise. Christian was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms by Multnomah County Circuit Judge Cheryl Albrecht, one for each of the first-degree murders, plus more than 25 years for other related offenses, like the attempted fist pump murder. Christian did not respond to the verdict since he had threatened the victim's relative and criticized the judge for the victim's victim impact statement.